It's the kind of political moment that gets everyone talking, a private appeal, a royal connection, and a wave of speculation. Keir Starmer has once again found himself at the center of a heated debate. Reports have surfaced that the Labour leader has made a discreet approach to King Charles III, setting off a flurry of questions, theories, and, of course, political reactions. But what exactly happened, and why does it matter? At first glance, the idea of a political leader reaching out to the monarch isn't exactly groundbreaking. After all, did you know that over 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed to the channel? We totally get it, life gets busy, and sometimes it's easy to forget. But here's the thing, subscribing is completely free, and it really helps us keep creating the content you enjoy. So, why not hit that subscribe button and join our community? It only takes a second, but it makes a world of difference to us. Thank you for your support. Britain's constitutional framework allows for interactions between politicians and the monarchy, but the nature of Keir Starmer's reported communication with King Charles has ignited significant debate. Some sources suggest that Starmer's intention was to lay the groundwork for a productive working relationship, anticipating a Labour victory in the upcoming general election. Others argue that this was a calculated move aimed at reassuring the establishment that a Labour government under his leadership would prioritize stability over radical change. Meanwhile, skeptics dismiss it as nothing more than political maneuvering designed to bolster Starmer's image as a statesman. For those less familiar with the current political landscape, Keir Starmer is positioning himself as the primary alternative to Rishi Sunak's Conservative government. With Labour maintaining a consistent lead in the polls, Starmer is acutely aware that his ability to project competence, credibility, and a steady hand will be crucial in persuading voters that Labour is ready to govern. However, this is where matters become complicated. Labour has historically had a nuanced and, at times, uneasy relationship with the monarchy. While the party does not advocate for abolishing the institution, there has often been a lingering sense that Labour governments operate with a different set of priorities than their Conservative counterparts, who traditionally maintain closer ties with the royal family. What could Starmer hope to achieve with a private appeal to the king? One prevailing theory is that he is seeking to preemptively smooth over any potential friction that might arise should he enter Downing Street. While the monarchy is constitutionally neutral, history has repeatedly demonstrated that neutrality does not necessarily equate to a lack of influence. A prime minister must be able to work effectively with the king, and ensuring a cooperative relationship in advance may be a tactically astute decision. However, not everyone views it this way. Critics argue that if Starmer is indeed engaging in discussions with the monarch on matters that could have an impact on governance, there is a legitimate question of transparency. Should the public be informed about any dialogue that could influence policy? Some voices within the political sphere maintain that Starmer should be focusing his efforts on winning over voters rather than reassuring the establishment. After all, the Labour Party has long positioned itself as a champion of the people, and private overtures to the monarchy could be perceived as a departure from that ethos. The question of optics, pragmatism or hypocrisy. Starmer has spent years branding himself as a leader of principle, someone who represents a clear departure from the instability and perceived chaos of recent Conservative rule. Yet, engaging in discreet discussions with the monarchy could be interpreted as reinforcing the very establishment politics that many Labour voters have historically been skeptical of. Would this move enhance his statesman-like credentials, demonstrating that he is preparing for the responsibilities of leadership? Or does it risk alienating a section of his base that desires genuine political transformation rather than subtle alignment with the existing power structures? Predictably, reaction to these reports has been split along partisan lines. Some Conservative figures have seized upon them as evidence that Starmer is more of a political insider than he portrays himself to be. Meanwhile, within Labour's own ranks, opinion is divided. Some see this as a pragmatic and necessary step to ensure a smooth transition into government, while others fear it undermines the party's message of change. Beyond the immediate political ramifications, this situation raises broader questions about the role of the monarchy in modern Britain. Should politicians engage in private discussions with the king before they have even won an election? Or is this simply how the system functions, with leaders prudently preparing for the demands of office? What is indisputable is that this debate is far from over. As the general election draws closer, every move Starmer makes will be dissected, scrutinized, and, inevitably, weaponized by his opponents. Whether this private engagement was a shrewd strategic decision or an unforced political blunder remains to be seen. One thing, however, is certain: this is only the beginning of what promises to be an intense political chess match. What do you think? Is Keir Starmer demonstrating political foresight and maturity, or is he making a miscalculation that could cost him credibility? Let the debate continue, and stay tuned for more updates as this story unfolds.